Welcome to Curtin Careers here in Dubai. My name is Miss B, and we're going to be speaking to two amazing speakers today. We're going to be talking about all things careers and how their career journeys have led them to their current roles. And also, we're going to be tapping into some of the misconceptions of the work that they set out to do and what many people think their jobs are about. But we're going to kind of unwrap all of those misconceptions. Before we jump into it any further, I want to introduce my two incredible guests. In no specific order, I would like to welcome Sahiba Nuzhat, who is the program coordinator and lecturer for IT and computer systems in the School of Electrical Engineering, Computing and Mathematical Sciences at Curtin University here in Dubai. Ms. Sahiba Nuzhat is a PhD candidate from Curtin University, Australia. She holds a Master of Science in Information Technology with a distinction from Heriot-Watt University, a Bachelor in Science in Computing Science from Murdoch University. During her studies at Murdoch, she received the honor of being valedictorian and was awarded the Academic Excellence Award by the Dubai International Academic City and the Colonel S.P. Wahi Leadership Award for demonstrating outstanding leadership qualities. She has been teaching for more than 10 years to undergraduate students, mainly programming languages such as Java, C, Python, Bash, data structures, algorithms, database systems, and so many more that I can't pronounce. So we're going to move forward. Sahiba has also been awarded fellowship by the Higher Education Academy in 2020 for her excellence in teaching, engaging classrooms, and positive student feedback. Welcome, Sahiba. It's amazing to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Maria, for that warm welcome. I'm really excited and looking forward to speaking with you further.
I am super humbled to have you with me. And without further ado, we have Mr. Tchuka Patrick Ekwago, who was born in Nigeria, to Obuzome Ekwago, a teacher, and Peter Sunday Ekwago. He finished his bachelor's degree in materials and metallurgical engineering from Nigeria. He then moved to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates in 2012, where he went on to do his master's degree in project management with Middlesex University, London. And upon graduation, he took a series of working class jobs before exploring his skills in acting in 2013 with Muse Dubai Agency. And then in 2014, he got his first Hollywood job with Miranda Davidson Studios, Dubai, where he also got an introduction to acting and scene study experience in 2015. Also, he had a singular drama acting lesson with New York University Sadia Island in Abu Dhabi. Furthermore, he had a behind-the-scenes acting training workshop with Leo Wong in Dubai. In the following years, Tchuka worked in a couple of Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, and independent films with outstanding talent and casting agencies and companies throughout the United Arab Emirates. Then in 2017, he had his first feature film main role, protagonist, in a movie called A Tale of Shadows by Tariq Al-Kazim, an Emirati filmmaker and the CEO of Mad Writer Productions in the United Arab Emirates. In 2018, Tchuka went along to work with Tariq Al-Kazim on his second feature film, Until Midnight, as a villain antagonist. Thank you so much for being with us today. Welcome, Tchuka, to the panel.
Thank you so much, Maria. And it's nice also meeting Sahiba. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting discussion today.
I have to say, between the two of you, I kind of feel really small. I mean, you guys have accomplished incredible things in your career. And if I'm feeling that way, it only makes me, think a little bit more about what young people, students must feel when they meet professionals like yourselves. And that's where we want to take this conversation. I think whenever I'm speaking with students, either in high school or at university, and even professionals mid-career, when they look towards their aspirations and they look at their mentors, they always feel this large gap of knowledge and And, how do I get to where they are? Because that's where I want to be. And I'd like to take the conversation from there. So today we're hoping that our students watching will understand the career realities, obviously, before they make those academic choices. But we also know that behind every student is a counselor or a teacher that's trying to support them. So we want to make sure that counselors and teachers watching understand more about the industries. And finally, and most importantly, it's time to bring the world of work into the classroom. And so this conversation aims to do that as well. So much to talk about, so little time. So I'm just going to jump into it. Sabiha, you have a very interesting introduction into your career. When students meet you, they see Miss Sabiha where she is right now, but we know that it is really not where you thought it would have begun. Can you take us through the journey of how you went from being a young teenager to then becoming Miss Sabiha Nuzhat, who's accomplished so many things in her career?
Definitely, Maria. I would love to talk about it. So going back a few years, back to my teenage life, I was not studying computer science or IT. My subjects that were chosen were biology, physics, chemistry, and math in particular, because it was my parents' dream that I would become a doctor one day. Not the doctor path that I'm on today, rather a doctor dealing with patients, not the one reading and writing papers. So that's pretty much what I assumed would be my career path a few years ago. I liked biology. I liked studying about human body. So I thought that that is exactly what I want to become. So I remember, since I'm from India, so my parents had sent me to take some medical entrance board examinations that are held in India. I studied in a British curriculum school here throughout my life, and Indian curriculum is quite different when we compare the two curriculums. So when I did go there for like coaching for around 3 months and appeared for those entrance examinations, things didn't really work out the way that we planned or assumed that they would work out. So I didn't really get into any of those top universities for medicine because I probably wasn't capable enough. So I returned back to Dubai and very much clueless as to what am I supposed to do next in my life. All my life, my parents and me had thought that I'd be a doctor. And here I am saying goodbye to being a doctor because after taking coaching and appearing for those entrance examinations, I realized I probably don't even like that. So the next good thing that I was interested in and I was good at was IT. So that is where my career actually began from. I went to Canada to pursue my bachelor's in computer science. And here I am today.
Wow, what a journey. And, as I was listening to you, Sabiha, talking about that journey, I could see numerous young people probably feeling what you felt like when you came back to Dubai thinking, what am I going to do with my life? Where am I supposed to go from here? Were you prepared for that inner dialogue, that inner conversation? Was that something that you were prepared to face when you came back to Dubai? And if not, who was the person or persons that you turned to for the guidance?
Okay, so one thing I got lucky was very understanding parents. So both my parents were on board with my abilities. They knew that I was good in sciences, even if it's health sciences. It's just that it did not work out. So they did not feel like I lacked the knowledge or the ability to become something in life. Rather, they motivated me that I should probably look into something else that interests me. It was my mother who I would give a complete, what do you say? I would say that she's the one who helped me overcome the failure that I felt I was going through. to make me feel like it's okay. If that's not worked out, that doesn't mean it's the end of education, you know? I mean, it's just part and parts of your life. And that's exactly what I tell my students as well. Most of the time, there are students who join my classes or probably join different streams, and they realize after 1 year of studying that, you know what? This isn't really something that I thought I wanted to do. I wasn't ready to opt into this stream that I am into. What do I do? How do I confront my parents? How do I overcome this? Because I'm feeling like I'm a failure in this particular stream that I've opted for myself. I always tell them that, you know, this is not the end of it. This is just the beginning. You're still very young. 1 year of even undergraduate is no harm. You have an entire life ahead of you. It doesn't mean that just because you feel like you've picked a wrong field, you have to stick to it. There's always an option to explore yourself, explore your abilities, your interests as you go forward in life, and be flexible. Just like how nothing remains the way it is forever, your life doesn't have to remain the way that you have planned it to be. If at all there are some situations that do happen that you might want to take a U-turn from, or a complete different turn from, that's totally okay. It's okay to adapt and be flexible and accept that there's something else that I'm probably more interested in, and go in that particular direction.
Amazing. I feel like I'm in the front row of the best TED Talk ever. I resonate with everything you're saying, Sabiha. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to tap back into this in a minute, but I want to move on to Tchuka. Listening to Sabiha's story and how she had to look within herself at a younger age, I know that you did something very similar, but you waited until you went as far as a master's degree. Can you tell us, Tchuka, how you decided engineering was something that you enjoyed, but there was something that you enjoyed to do more of, and how you transitioned from engineering into what you're currently doing, acting, film producing, and all that jazz?
So, in a nutshell, I would say from day one, because I was born into a family of academia. My parents, God bless their soul, from day one, it's about going to school. You know, my dad was an automobile engineer. My mom was a teacher. So it resonates in that area, you know, and you have to go to school, you have to get a job, you have to be. And I've always been fascinated with engineering, being my demography where I come from, because it's an oil producing nation. So it's like a tin of flair for every guy out there. You graduate, you become an engineer, you work in oil and gas, you work in construction companies and all that stuff, right? So over the years, it's been something that I've wanted, and taking a very serious major in engineering, which is like a double major, which is materials and metallurgical. And after that, I was like, okay, let's take it to the next level, because of the market was changing. The market was changing because I started working in a construction company back home. That's not what I wanted. I always wanted an oil and gas company. So, and then I transitioned and I moved to Dubai, joined Middlesex University. And they had the engineering project management at that time. And we were like, I was among the pioneers who started with Middlesex for that module program at that year. I wouldn't say that I was aware of what's going to happen. Like Sabiha said, you don't see it coming. You never see it coming. So I never wanted, because of my background, I never wanted to just pull out of the academic field of life. I always wanted to attain even to the highest and highest level. So the acting thing has been there. But because back in my kindergarten, I've done a couple of stuff with acting, and in my high school, I was in the drama club, but I never picked it as something. I just picked it as a hobby, right? So it so happened here, even before I graduated from Middlesex, there was a day we were like I was supposed to head back for a program for an event to AUD, American University Dubai. And that day, a friend of mine, her sister was a student in, trying to remember the name of the uni in Sharjah, but she was visiting Dubai from Sharjah that day. Because why I'm pointing out this very day was the day the whole thing transitioned, the whole thing started here. So the elder sister called me and said, okay, my younger sister is coming around. She's just gonna like join you. I heard you going for program. I said, yeah. So I was about leaving the school campus on that day because we share the same building with SAE Institute, which is like a film program institution in Knowledge Village. So they used to come advertise stuff, most of their programs, event in a block. So when I was leaving, I saw an ad on the wall, and it was showing about a program. There was an audition coming up with Muse Dubai. Muse Dubai is owned by the two sisters. They were Pakistani, very nice student. They were in SAE at that time. And then I called them up. So myself and my friend's sister, we went for the audition. And we just like, let's see what's happening, just fooling around students, So, and we went for the audition, and it was a movie, that was a Shah Rukh Khan movie, Happy New Year, 2013, if I'm not mistaken, that had Jackie Shroff and the rest of the Abhishek Bachchan. I think the Pika was there as well. So I was selected, and long story short, they called us back, but my friend's sister didn't want to show up because she was also selected. So I pulled in was an extra, was a Jackie Shroff's bodyguard in that movie all through. And I was like, oh, wow, this is an interesting environment. Like when I saw what was going on, the crew, everyone, the sound, I started understanding, the way that I was seeing engineering in the concept of corporate world of the white collar that I have to work in, in oil and gas, in constructions, in the IT, and all the stuff. It's also applicable here in the film world, And I was talking to one of the sound guys, like, yeah, I'm a sound engineer. And that's the first time I'm hearing about a sound engineer. I was like, wow. And I'm looking at the director. The director is someone like a supervisor at site. He's checking on everyone. So that's more or less the first instance of me, making that shift.
I love that. So I was taking notes as you actually were speaking, and the four things actually came out for me. One is you resonated with what Sabiha was saying in terms of you never see it coming. And that's a direct quote from what you said, is that you don't see change coming. When it's coming. You also recognized or normalized that you came from an academic family, a background of academics. So would you say, Tchuka, that you felt that internal expectation that you should go down the academic path? Did you think that there could have been an alternative path, or was it always ingrained in you unconsciously? We're academics and we go down that academic path.
No, I think it was it was within me that it has to be academic. Even I was at my mom so much because I was ending up saying I work at a point in time in my life, maybe in any of the corporate engineering world, I would end up probably being a lecturer or something.
Okay.
So it's being in that mindset.
So it was in there, but then you also said that when you left your home country to move to the UAE, it's because you recognized that the market was changing and you didn't want to work in construction. You wanted to work in oil and gas. So you came here with the intention to upskill and join in that industry, obviously. But then one day, life threw you a curveball and you met people in your community, in your network, and a new opportunity. And I think what stood out for me, Tchuka, and I'm repeating this timeline because I want our viewers to understand that, like you said, and like Sabiha said, when you're planning for life, life throws you curveballs and you kind of have to land on your feet. And you both were very resilient and adaptable. So you were open to the opportunity of taking a hobby and turning it into a potential future career. And in Sabiha's story, you came here and you had to look inward and find your next pathway forward. Would you describe yourself, Sabiha, at that time as also being open as Tchuka was? I know you were a lot younger than Tchuka would have been when he was open and looking at that change, but would you have described yourself as open to the opportunity, or more so as feeling stuck and needing to find a solution?
I was trying to just remember or recall back those moments. I think I was scared. All the life you believe that you want to do something, and suddenly you don't really have that ambition anymore, or at least that motive, just because you failed at one place. So I was really scared, and I did want to go stick on to health sciences. I was looking at other universities, probably some local universities here, or even going to China for that sake, because medicine over there was cheaper. And a lot of people from India, Pakistan, and other places would go there to do their medical studies. China, Russia, all of those countries out there. So I was open to any option. To be very honest, I was quite open. I was like, okay, fine, that didn't work out. That doesn't mean I'm not going to study anymore in my life. I still want to do something and become someone eventually. So I was looking out for options, and just figured out that, medicine is probably not the best thing that I am interested in, or the most interesting thing for me. I took up a short, it was more like a very short animation course here. Just before deciding that this is IT stream that I actually want to end up going on to. And I enjoyed doing that, little tiny bits of codes and getting a ball move from one edge to another edge. It was quite exciting. And then after some discussion, we went ahead with me changing health sciences to computer science. And I think I made the best decision back then, because the content that I feel in life right now, perhaps that wouldn't, or it wouldn't be possible if I was doing something else. That's personally what I feel.
Wow. Okay, Sabiha, on that note, I'm going to dive into what you're doing currently. You're in a very fast-paced industry. What you learn today, tomorrow may not even exist. It might be completely different. I think the IT and cybersecurity field is growing so quickly that humans are daily trying to keep up and trying to catch up. How do you stay current, and how do you advise students considering coming into IT and cybersecurity? How do you stay current? How do you do it in terms of this rapidly changing technology in this field? Do you ever feel like you're on top of it, or is it a constant running game every day trying to keep up?
Right. Maria, as you mentioned, technology is forever moving. What is super hot in tech today may be obsolete in a few years ahead. So it's a very fast evolving stream. So in order to keep myself upgraded with all the new things happening in technology, it's more like, how you have let's say you're using a software, or even an operating system. You need to make sure to update it to be able to come up with new features that it has, even how a particular software update is sent to overcome a bug. Similarly, I have to upgrade myself All right. I have to upgrade myself constantly with what's out there. I can't just stick to what I knew 10 years ago in IT and be like, we're still there, because we're not. And the students coming into my classes are from this new generation and the new technologies that have been exposed to them at a very young age. So they're already aware of it. And me being someone who's instructing them, who's guiding them, not knowing that could be something to avoid. So I try to update myself. And even for the students out there, I would say that keep yourself updated on the latest tech news, attend various conferences that are happening around in Dubai, or UAE in particular. Even if you're a student, that is not something that should stop you from attending a conference, because conference is a place, it's like a summit where you get to interact with other people in the same field or same interests. You get to know about the latest research that's happening in your field or in your interest. So let's say you're interested in cybersecurity. There are a lot of different cybersecurity competitions as well as conferences that happen in UAE. So by attending that, you're gaining first-hand information and knowledge, as well as exposure from people who are proficient in cyber security. So you get to be aware of what's happening out there. Always take notes while you're listening to anything, and read up on that later on, just so that you're upgraded with whatever is happening out there. So I think that's one of the most important things that you should do. Try to look out for collaborations with industries. Try to look out for internships, even if they're not paid. Since you're students, a lot of companies would like to not pay you for interns. And that's totally okay, because this is the time you're getting that exposure to what's happening outside in the market. So I think you should definitely allow yourself to allocate a few hours of your time, probably on a weekend or something, just to work with someone who's already in industry for the field that you think you're interested in. That gives you a first-hand exposure to what is out there. And that's also a good way to know if this is something that you would like to do in the long run.
I love that. I love how you showed us with that very great visual of upgrading our systems is the same in terms of your professional upgrade as well. I'm going to come back to you, Sabiha, because there's a question I'm about to ask Tchuka that I want to bring back to you as well. As I am playing devil's advocate in asking these questions, Tchuka, I'm going to come down really harsh right now in terms of my next question, because I know this must be a question that you get asked all the time. How does an engineer become an actor? When we think of engineering, when young people think of engineering, they have this skill set in their mind academically, maths and physics, for example, as subjects. And then in terms of skills, hard skills that they use in engineering. And when they think of acting and filming, it's like a completely different skill set through their eyes. But different. So talk to us about how you approached problem solving and innovation when you were an engineer, and how that helps you right now in your work.
All right. Thank you very much. I will say this. Nobody in this life starts where they end. So there is always an in between where you start, getting to where you end. There is this process. There is this journey in between that you can't assimilate. You don't understand what is happening, because in your mind, it's all about, I'm going to start this and I'm going to finish this. But you never thought about what's going to happen in between. So what your question, is about is that it's a very, I don't want to use the word delicate, but it's a very interesting transition, because engineering, as we all know, is a broad field of study. It requires a lot of times people think it's all about practical, but it requires a lot of technical which is the main point in engineering. Because what is the word engineering? You are gearing something, you're moving something, you want to solve a problem. It's about solving problem. It's about facts and figures. Those are the two main key in engineering. If you don't have them, you can't solve the problem. You need that fact. You are not opinionated, saying it's an opinion of mine that I'm thinking. You're not thinking. In engineering, you don't think, saying, oh, maybe, no. It's a fact. And when you have the fact, you have the figure. That's the numbers. It goes with the numbers, right? So over the time in history, visual, which we all know today as film, what people see visually. Because when I mention engineering, we're going into technical, which is about technical report, everything designing, you draw and other stuff. But visual, by translating that for people to see what you were thinking, that this is what I've been thinking. This is what I was having the vision as, but this is how it is now. So in history, people think, oh, filmmaking was meant for, people who are not sound, but that's wrong. When when I had the opportunity to go into what filmmaking is all about, and I realized, I said, oh, Tony, I didn't know anything. This is a different world on his own. Part of my friends, these guys are crazy, these guys they operate on a different level. That, the creativity of someone thinking about a story of, for example, someone think about a phone. That's just an idea. From that, they think about writing a story. From writing a story, then thinking about making a screenplay. Thinking about making a screenplay, they tell you that this very phone, do you know how this phone was made? That the origin of this phone came from whatever, from Mr. A visiting Mr. B, and they had a conversation, a dialogue comes in. And this was just about a phone. And before you know it, they gonna approach someone else and tell them, oh, I have this idea, what do you think? And this person says, okay, you know what? I'm gonna bring everyone together. We gonna create something. That guy has taken a charge of an idea he doesn't even know about to just direct these guys to bring this very idea into reality.
So would you say that your engineering mind helps you do that?
Yeah. So that's the same with engineering. In engineering, yeah, the broad spectrum of the blueprint, because in engineering, we know that this is what we're going to do, right? We know we're going to build this base to mount a tower crane, for example. I'm going to go into terminologies very deep in engineering now, right? So in thinking about mounting a tower crane, when I say tower crane, a lot of us have seen it every day in Dubai, but we might not know what it is. So in most of the high-rise buildings, you see there is this skeletal metallic structure standing all the time before the building are erected. So those are called tower crane. So imagine, we know that in this area, we have to mount a base, construct a base with measurement, with sound figures of measurement of the area, knowing that it's not going to collapse. There's not going to be any accident. Then we're going to mount this crane, and this crane is what we're going to use to lift the heavy materials to erect the structure, right? So it's a blueprint. It's clear, and someone is supervising it. There are workers, there are engineers, there are people there who look at and someone is going to design it, right? So when you move into the film world, you realize it's someone think it's a two different field, but they are also applying the same concept, but in a different way. The only we can say the difference is that in engineering, let's say in oil drilling and all those stuff, we know we're gonna drill out the oil, refine it, sell it to the people, right? That comes in with the material, the budgeting of how you're gonna the materials to drill this, and you think of the profit. Also in building the house, You erect the structure, people are going to live in it. The workers pack their bag, they go home, you put it out for rent and lease it. The same with filmmaking. You create an idea in your head, but this time around, this very idea, you don't want people to feel it. They're not going to touch it. You want them to visualize it. You still create this movie, the material is ready, you put it out to the market for what? For viewers' consumption, for people to see it. So that's how it is, you know.
Thank you, Tchuka. I love how you brought that together for us, and that idea that your engineering mind, the skills that you use as an engineer, you're also using in film, but you're using them differently, but the same skills. Now, I've invited both of you onto the panel because of the misconceptions of careers. And I know that you've both encountered some of these misconceptions. And I think when young people are planning their career, they're thinking about a job title. They're thinking about income earning. They're thinking about academics. They're not really thinking about misconceptions. And I think those are things that you only really learn about when you do the job and then go, oh, I thought it would be. And that's where the misconception kicks in. So Nabiha, sorry, I'm going to edit that out. So Sabiha, what are some of the misconceptions that you have faced in your role, and some of the things that you want a young person thinking about IT and cybersecurity to be aware of?
Okay, so a lot of times when people talk about IT or even cybersecurity, they may assume that it's just something that you do behind a screen and a keyboard. All right, there's nothing more to it. You just need a screen and a keyboard, and that's it. You're going to be sitting there from morning till evening. It's a 9 to 5 job. All you need to do is type something which probably other people don't understand, looks like code or something or the other. However, the scope of IT is quite wide. That's not the only thing you end up becoming, a programmer. That's not the only thing that's out there. A lot of times, especially for young girls, this goes out to you. I always see very few girls in my classes as compared to the strength of boys. Number one reason, girls are scared that computer science involves things that they probably may not understand. However, to be very honest, the performance of girls, even though they're few, is much better as compared to some boys in class. Now, that's because a lot of girls out there are not aware of the scope of computer science or information technology. It is not something to be afraid of, and it's not something that only a male can do. It is something that is okay and totally fine and doable by any gender. So it's not a male dominant work field. That's what most of the girls out there feel, and they hesitate taking computer science or IT. So even when I joined university to study my bachelor's as well as my master's, I was minority because there were really no girls. I mean, maximum 2 or 3 girls in the class of, say, 12 to 15. So this has been there in the past when I was a student, and I feel like the trend is still out there. So there has to be someone like me telling that, hey, this is not a male dominant field. It is a field open to all genders, and anybody can do excellent in this particular field. So when you take IT as a field that you opt for in university, what are the different scope, or what are the different things that you can do? Well, you can become a lecturer like me. I did not really expect to be teaching when I was studying my bachelor's, when I was doing my undergraduate. Teaching was totally out of my mind. I mean, I never even thought that I'd be out there educating and nurturing young minds. I always assumed that I would probably be into database systems, become a database administrator or a system administrator, do some coding behind the screen, etc. So just to give you a brief overview of the different things that you can do with computer science. Well, yes, you can be a programmer. You can be a database analyst. You can be a consultant. You can be a software consultant. So if you're afraid of actually sitting and coding, you can opt for being a consultant where you're guiding a lot of different companies out there about the right use or the right choice of software for their organizations. You can get into artificial intelligence, since that's booming out there. You can get into cybersecurity. You can get into software development. So not just about making sure or developing a software, but just being a program manager who is going through the entire phase of software development and ensuring that the software is delivered on time, in the appropriate budget, and in the best efficient manner that it's supposed to be delivered. So there's a whole lot of variety of fields that you can opt from computer science or IT, and not just be stuck onto coding if that's something that you fear. So that's something I want to tell the young generation out there, that this is not a male dominant field, first of all, and explore, take it in your younger days, in your high school, maybe in O levels or A levels. Take it as some sort of summer camp course that you're doing, just to explore the features that this stream has to offer, and then see if that is what you could be interested in.
Fantastic. What a wonderful list of opportunities career-wise. I'm definitely writing these down and sharing them. And you tapped in on many important points. One, in terms of young girls being a little weary of entering. I think there's a lot more to that conversation, and definitely the need for another conversation and bringing in this topic on its own. But I'm so conscious of time, and Tchuka, I know we need to get you to another talk in a few minutes, but if you could just give me maybe your top three misconceptions that you've come across, both as an engineer and in your acting career, what would they be, Tchuka?
I think my own should be, because when I joined in, I remember there was a day on set, someone was like asking me, what you're doing in Dubai. There was a shoot going on then. And I was like, no, I'm a student, but I'm an extra in this project. And he's like, why, why are you in the film industry? Like you can work, So the thing is, that thing is there, you transitioning from the academic level to coming to filmmaking. And also misconception is on the looks. People don't get it. They think acting and filmmaking is about just your look, how you look. Oh, I'm not young. Oh no, I don't think if I'm gonna fit in or this. No. The thing is that it's a very broad field. So even if you get in as an actor, which I am doing now, you can even transition by learning other skills within the filmmaking, by producing, directing, knowing maybe sound, engineering, light engineering, who are the lights, and those guys are one of like the most very important guys on set. Think about the costume. For even other fields of studies who are into makeup and all those stuff, they can even come in and be a very good makeup artist and source their own fashion brands to be used in the film world as well. In terms of the business aspect, they can go into the budgeting, how the budgets are raised, how the business of selling the end material for the audience to view. So people shouldn't have that mindset of, oh, it's acting. No, it's only for, cute, young and looking people just to come in and, just no, you coming in because there are varieties of characters that you can delve into. It's just you as a person. But when you get into acting, you're portraying a character that is not in existence. So you're just shifting yourself again to get into a different role, then getting back again to your real self. You see? So there's a lot of them, but these are like the key points I can mention to people, not to look into that, but just keep an open mind, be flexible, and be ready to put in the work and be ready to work and to learn more in what's happening behind the scenes as well.
So I am so conscious of your time right now, but one question to add on to what you were saying, Tchuka. Sabiha mentioned gender in that young girls are weary of IT and cybersecurity because this misconception that it's a male dominated industry. Would you say that engineering and film were also have gender misconceptions?
I think engineering to say, because a lot of times you see more of men, guys are the ones, trying to risk it out. But no, there are some very talented ladies out there who are like welding engineers, who are, like she mentioned, IT, even in the engineering world, IT is part of the branch of engineering, and yeah, so people see it that way. But I mean, you shouldn't limit yourself. If you're good with, like I mentioned, if you're good with numbers, uh, just try it out. Try into engineering. And in the film world, there's a lot of stuff that people don't know when they're outside. But when you get in, it's not a fashion parade. It's not like modeling. There are two different uh, things playing out. That's why most of the time you see a lot of models. That's, for example, runway models or magazine models. You don't see them acting. They can't get into character. They can't even tell stories. So it's the gender-based thing. People shouldn't put that in mind. Should just have a clear mind and understand that there are so many areas in this very field where you can explore and show your best ability to, yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Tchuka. Thank you, Sabiha, for being here. And thank everybody for watching. And I can't wait to bring more incredible speakers where we're going to be talking about all things careers here at Curtin University in Dubai. And that is it for today. Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.
You guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.